You're listening to Get to Know World of Warships, a podcast created by Bogsy and Synpax.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Get to Know World of Warships, hosted by Bogsy and Borla. I, of course, am Bogsy, hosting with my co-host, Borla. Hello, Borla.
Hey, Bogsy. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm tan. I was in Florida.
Yeah? How was that?
It was great. It was white sand beaches, clear water. I saw 2 seahorses. I saw a pufferfish, and I drank a Irish wake at McGuire's in Florida. It was delicious, which I know you've been to.
Yeah, I'm jealous. That's an area of Florida that I'm pretty familiar with. Been down there a bunch of times, and I'm glad you had a good time and good weather. And I think you left on the exact right day, didn't you?
I think so. Well, there was a huge, there were several tropical storms, I think they call them, that came through while I was there. But I think what they call a full-on monsoon hit on Friday right when we were leaving. So I missed that, which is good.
The question I've been dying all weekend to ask you is, Late Light, your buddy in TNG, is a big fan of the podcast. Big fan.
Yes, he is a huge fan.
Did you send him shirtless pics too while you're in Florida, or just me?
I didn't. The thing about getting swimsuit pictures with me and Bree from Florida is you have to not just be a fan of the podcast, you have to listen to it. And if he listened to it, even though he's like my buddy, he would know that that's the rule. So no swimsuit. A good friend would listen.
A good friend would listen. But go ahead.
I think
carry
so.
on.
Well, anyway, I would say just the coolest part about what we saw there was that after the storms would pass over where we were in Florida, they would sort of they'd travel out over the horizon of the Gulf of Mexico. And so at night, Bree and I, my girlfriend, got to go out onto the beach after the storm had passed over and watch it retreat over the horizon. So every 3/4 of a second, you could see a lightning strike because you just had this huge panorama of black ocean, and every single bolt strike or sheet strike would just ripple out through the darkness. It was so cool.
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with the Panhandle area of Florida, the section between Destin and Panama City Beach, not so much Panama City in that, but in between there, the white powdered sugar beaches are just awesome. There is a little bit of surf, but it's fun to be in. It's not overwhelming.
Right.
And some of those stretches, I know in Destin the beach is kind of crowded and stuff, but those who have families or want to get a group and rent a house, like in Rosemary Beach, Alice Beach, that area, it's highly recommended, especially for, to me, early summer, like May, June, or the perfect time is middle of September after the kids are back in school and the water's still warm.
Wow. I mean, it really is a cool place. I do recommend it. My favorite part about my previous trip there was a shuttered business, sadly, called Guns and Such. I'd never seen something like that. Guns and Such. So hopefully they'll
Florida man is Florida man for a reason, Bogsy.
It's insane. However, while I was gone, a whole lot happened in World of Warships. I was actually really hoping that I could make it over to Pensacola to the Naval Aviation Museum there and maybe have some media to share, but I did not make it, I'm afraid. So we're going to have to deal with real shooty boats in World of Warships instead. The several Tier 10s came out. The Elbing came out. It's finally available. The Druid, the Tier 10 Research Bureau ship, is out and available. The Tone, the Tier 8 hybrid Japanese cruiser, is out. I feel like there's something else. There's super battleships. There's a lot.
Soviet carriers were announced, Bogsy. Aren't you excited?
Oh my God. Well, we're going to talk about that but we're going to include some other people in that discussion. And the folks that we have on today, our guests, are very special. They're very special, Borla. Do you know why they're very, very special?
I do. I just saw, this is a group of clans. So we have the clans Bingo, Form, and Salvo with us. And what's a little unique about them, you and I belong to clans that have groups associated with them, but it's very centralized, right? Like TNG has central structure, and KSC obviously has central structure. These are 3 separate clans that share a space and share a Discord, and they have articles of the coalition that they've put together so that they actually have kind of operating rules about how they deal with one another and make decisions and everything else. But so we're going to talk to Dueler from Bingo, Destroyer from Form, and Tane from Salvo. Hi guys, how are you today?
Doing well. Well, thanks.
Well, this is exciting for us because we've been sort of negotiating with the three of you to try and get you guys on to talk about your clan structure and how you came about it and how it functions and all that for I don't know, several months now. But since there are several of you, it's been obviously a little difficult to find a time it works. So we appreciate all three of you actually making that time. So. Gosh, let's we're gonna do this one at a time, I suppose. I'll just Boyle and I'll rotate asking you guys specific questions. We'll try and address one of you first, and if you guys want to punt the question to one or the other, that's totally on you. That's just fine. So the coalition is the name of the Discord. It's the Salvo Coalition, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so this coalition of clans involves Salvo, Clan Form, and Clan Bingo. Now
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It involves those clans, and then there's sub clans like Salvo. There's Salvo, and then Salve Zero,
Okay.
and then there's Bingo Bango Bongo, which
Right.
is one of the best clan groups ever. And then there's Form.
And don't forget Congo.
Lord. So okay, that's,
Bingo, Bango, Bongo, and Congo. Nice.
it sounds like one of those. It sounds like a band from Danny Elfman in the '80s, doesn't it? His was Oingo Boingo. That's what it was. Okay. So that's a lot of different clans, and that's a lot of different clans all sharing one Discord roof. Now, let's start with Eviltane, and I'm just going to ask you, how exactly did the genesis of a multi-clan Discord even come about?
The original idea behind it. Okay, just to give a quick description for everybody that is not quite aware. Basically, as a coalition, as an alliance, we are formed under a confederate model of government. That means the coalition is responsible to the clans, not the clans to the coalition. So if you join us, then we can't tell you how to run your clan. However, we can all work together and figure out how to run a Discord together. The Discord is kind of like the uniting thing that we all work around. And really, the whole thing started off with Dueler bugging me. Dueler, if you want to take it, how you came to talk to us.
Well, we were kind of looking. We were looking for kind of another group to kind of join up with. We kind of left a group that I would say didn't match our views so much, and looking to, we were going to try to do it on our own, but we always ran into the problem where we would have two teams running clan battles, and 3 or 4 people would just be sitting out. Or we have too many, so we have one team running and 4 or 5 guys kind of just sitting out. So we wanted to kind of get another group involved, just to with the addition to murking into the clan battles. It was a nice, easy way to fill up the couple teams. And what better way to get a bigger group together so we can kind of pull and share resources or our members to kind of fill in those spots. So, I kind of looked around the wargaming community, and our best option was to kind of join up with Salvo there.
Yeah, basically, Dueler had come up to me and asked, can we join with you guys? Can we work together? And I was originally thinking it was going to be something like how KSC or TNG have got their groups, like you guys have described earlier. And I went to Dueler and said, so that means like we get to be boss if you wear our tags? And Dueler said, no, that's not quite what we imagined. And so that night I started thinking that I don't want to lose this, because I'm desperate for having lots of people on a Discord talking to each other. And 2, I was thinking back to my EVE Online days. Like in EVE Online, you've got these huge alliances made up of all these different corporations, and the boss of the alliance can't necessarily tell everybody in their alliance how to run the internal politics of their corporations. And people come and people go, clans come, corporations come and go. So that's kind of where we started off with. And then I talked to Star Destroyer, who really was looking for, well, I can't really say what he was looking for, but I'd met him. He'd come to our Discord, and I thought, hey, those guys are good. I want to see if I can grab them and get them involved in this whole thing too. And so yeah, that's kind of how everything got started.
Okay, so you guys basically were looking to sort of share some resources in a way. Now, so, well, maybe I'll let Borla ask a bit more about how exactly you share resources, but let me just ask you about what exactly it entails to share a Discord. Evil, do you own the Discord? Is it the Salvo Discord that other folks sort of migrated to and you guys share responsibility for?
Yes, it is actually now an AFK member of the clan that owns the Discord itself.
Oh.
He gave me admin status at the time, and then the reason why it's called the Salvo Coalition is because my clan leader Jahurovich at the time, I was going to call it TriStar or something like that. I was trying to think of a cool name, and I think it was going to be TriStar Confederation. And he says, no, you do me this favor, just put Salvo in and see if the other two protest. And I don't know if they're going to start protesting now that I said that, but that's kind of how the whole thing got started. And then beyond that, Bingo, they were looking for a new Discord to start with anyway, and the Salvo Discord was basically a whole bunch busier than the Form Discord at the time. So I just suggested, and the others agreed that we'll just do it on the Salvo Discord from there on.
Really, that's a pretty brilliant idea. I know a lot of the clans that are trying to grow, trying to get activity. One of the challenges is to get critical mass going on the Discord, right? To be able to have people there to play with that encourages division play and kind of a community feel. I guess I'll throw this to Star Destroyer first. What impact did you notice when you joined the group to your clan?
Sure. Actually, that's a great question. So to give you some backstory for what Form was dealing with, so Form has been around since around Clan Battle Season 1, although we had a different name. But every season we did field teams and we did reach Typhoon, but consistently there was a pattern that we would try to run teams on, especially Wednesday and Thursdays when people are working, and it was really hard to put together a team of 6 to 8 people. So by joining the Salvo Coalition, immediately we noticed, like, hey, we have all these people that are available. Maybe their home clan doesn't have enough spots, or maybe they have 1 or 2 extra people and they just can't fit them in. But that difference is made up by other clans trying to run their own teams, and they make up that deficit by pulling in what we call mercenaries from well, I guess the game calls it mercenaries too, but internal mercenaries from our coalition partners, and then we're able to run full teams 100% of the time, and it's really great. I mean, we've been playing almost, I think, 60% more battles since we started joining the coalition. So I for one definitely have noticed a difference for Form. And Evil, have you noticed a difference at all with that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, for one, I don't have to worry about as many guys being upset that they don't necessarily get to play once 1 or 2 teams really start going with Salvo. Or there's that break where you've got 1 full team going and you're waiting for the second to fill up. And what do those 4 guys do? Well, half the time they get bored and they take off. Now there's an opportunity to run with Bingo or with Form in battles. So it's just more guys getting more steel.
Yeah, I can definitely see how the arrangement you guys have together would make sense for that sort of thing and be attractive to the groups. Dueler, what would you say is the biggest advantage once you joined the coalition and things got rolling?
For our group, I would say the knowledge. Playing with Form and Salvo. I would say we are like a fringe Typhoon League team. But just learning from them, playing with them, you pick up things as you kind of go along, and our tactics have totally changed. Just talking with Form and Salvo. So I would say for our group, that's the biggest advantage that we got out of this, other than supplying, or not supplying, but allowing some of the guys that want to play clan battles who see what Typhoon League is all about, and and hopefully as we get better, we can help Salvo and the Forum get into that Hurricane type league. So I think each group has its own advantages, I think, and I think this is probably our strongest one.
So, Doula, I'm going to stick with you for just a second, because I actually recall the time when Bingo was looking for sort of a place to land, I suppose. So, talk to me a little bit about, and then we'll get to Star Destroyer. But talk to me a little bit about what the process is like for the leaders of Bingo trying to maybe take the temperature of the clan about how they feel about the idea of joining something like another clan group or a coalition or whatnot. I mean, how did that process go with negotiating with your people?
Well, it was actually pretty easy. We've done it before. Majority of our guys have been playing for about 4 years together. We were some of the original members of Black Fleet. I don't know if you guys remember those guys, but they created a group called Fleet Pirates, which majority of our group is from Fleet Pirates, and as that kind of group, all the leadership kind of stopped playing. We moved to, as a whole group, we all came together and, decided to go to the 90th as the 90th Eye.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we didn't see the views. We didn't agree with them after a little bit. And as, again, a collective group, we kind of, went our separate ways.
Sure.
And joining another group, because we had internal discussions of what do we do? Do we kind of stay by ourselves? We just run our own little group, or do we look into different aspects or another TNG? I know we talked to you guys. We talked to Dale and Kent, Salvo, and it just kind of made sense when we took the pros and the cons with everybody, and we all kind of agreed that, hey, Salvo's, we can be our own entity. But again, we get all the benefits of, mercenaries and, knowledge. And it just kind of worked really good for us.
Yeah. Well, Star Destroyer, same question to you, my man. I mean, what's it like trying to talk to a clan about the notion of sort of adhering yourself to a space station called Salvo?
You hit me right there with the DS9 vibes. Yeah, no, I mean, forming the clan or the coalition was pretty straightforward. We kind of all just got together in a channel and we talked about it. We decided we'd form a set of base rules so that each clan could prosper, and we'd have a structure for us to operate under, but not be beholden to. Which is the Articles of the Coalition, which Evil had mentioned before. And to speak a little bit about this document, I don't know if you have it on your screen for your viewers to watch right now, but it is a 13-page document that we all agreed on the rules over the course of many weeks, and we all kind of pitched in and provided language to the document so that it could resemble a real binding document that you would find somewhere else. And once we got those rules established, we all just set it in a day, which we called Coalition Day, where we just said, here's where the coalition starts, and we all moved over to one Discord, and now we all live here. So in the Salvo Coalition, we in terms of operating, we do have what's called a Grand Council, and the purpose of the Grand Council is kind of like a United Nations. Each clan brings a representative or a group of representatives, and we vote on any issues that come up. And then we also have, shared common areas where people can chat, just like the TV lounge, I guess, the proverbial TV lounge. And so people can chat and form groups and divisions. But we also have our own private spaces. So if we want to have some private time with only our clan, there are text and voice channels for us to interact with our own clan.
So, I was looking over these the articles of Articles of the Coalition. Yeah, Articles of the Coalition. who put together the language on this? Because it seems like somebody has like almost a formal legal background or background of writing policies or something in there.
I put most of the basic language together, and because I like writing those documents, so I have rules to yell at people when they're going outside of what they're supposed to be doing. So I made one, or not myself, but together within the Salvo commanders. We'd done this before, and so I'd taken that as an early concept, and then I started writing the first bunch of stuff down. And then Dueler and Star Destroyer and their commanders, they added things, and we removed a couple things. And then really Star Destroyer made it really pretty in the end, and made it like really professional sounding. Like, he gets a lot of credit.
Thanks. No, but I just improve on what you wrote, Evil. But in terms of like a legal background, I'm not a lawyer, but I am a professional engineer. So I guess that kind of seeps into my private life as well.
You have the same sickness, it's just a different form, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that really caught my eye, and one of the things that I was thinking about as we were going to bring you guys on before I saw this, was recruiting. Maybe we'll start with Dueler on this, but let's say I'm someone who's interested in finding a clan and I get invited to the Salvo Discord. What is the process there for how a recruit would decide where to go, or do you nudge them in a direction? Do you vote on it? How does that work, Dueler?
I would say for a lot of stuff, guys that we brought in so far, it's been more in game that, hey, come join us. We kind of do our own little recruiting just for our group. We put on the forum, the Warship forums. Granted, we have. Once they get to the Discord, it kind of gives you a prompt to say, "Hey, who are you here for? You a guest? You're here for bingo, salvo, or form?" They click a couple buttons, and we kind of, accordingly as they suit the bingo, then we throw them in, bingo, bango, or bongo, and we kind of use that as our first screening. If a guy's kind of undecided, hey, around, see who group you fit in, and then at that point it's up to the player to pick which group he wants to go into.
So essentially, and I'll throw this to Star Destroyer, if I come on there and I know that I'm looking for form, then as long as I get accepted by form's requirements, or you guys are cool with me, then I join your clan.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we want to get to know you if you show up in our Discord, and we of course encourage you to join voice chat, so we can chat with you and get to know you better as a person, and make sure that it's a good fit for both of us. But absolutely, yeah, that's basically how it works.
So, have you guys run into each other in clan battles?
Yes, we have.
Do people have a pretty good sense of humor about that? Is it?
Oh yes.
Okay. I mean, because
we've said in all chat like, "Hey guys."
I see. Okay. Well, so I did see in your articles of coalition. I'm going to scroll back to it, see if I can say this verbatim as opposed to paraphrasing. If a clan member, Article 7-1, if a clan member mercs for another member clan, but then is needed to return to his parent clan for clan battles / brawls, the player's priority is to their home clan and must be free to go back. I mean, does that happen a lot? I'm honestly kind of curious. TNG works in a certain way where, as folks can sort of merc around to the different branches as they're needed or as they're wanting to, but have people ever resisted that rule? Have they sort of jumped between the clans? I don't mean to start anything. I'm just sort of curious.
Not at this point yet. I mean, you fairly often, there's a guy called GN in my clan. He likes to merc for form, but I mean, so far there has not been any serious headbutting. We did have a thing early on where at Salvo, I was used to just jumping from channel to channel to channel to getting guys to go into teams, and so there was a time in the very last clan season first day where okay, I can't just jump into the form channel and bug people of mine that are in there, invoice and interrupt the form clan battle.
Mhm.
So we had a little coalition meeting about that, or a grand council meeting, and we said we're going to handle it through pinging. Maybe you can drag a guy out of a channel, but you just don't want to disrupt another team while they're running. Beyond that, I don't think we've ever had much issues. Star Dueler?
I don't
No,
think so. I
don't
think
think
after
so.
we decided on that, it seemed to work pretty well. Like personally, the approach I use is I put a ping into the clan battles, looking for clan battles channel, and then I typically just join into a voice channel, wait for them to be done their battle, and I say, hey guys, we're looking for one person. So
Sounds very civilized. Borla, do you have any
So far.
other clan-related questions for these hoodlums, or should we talk about the state of the game?
Well, somebody, as we were doing our pre-show chat, had a very hot take that I would like to discuss.
Go for it.
The comment was made that one of you felt, and I was away from my computer, but I could hear it, so I wasn't sure who said it, but they felt the game was in the best state it's been since the CV rework. And that's something that I think is kind of a controversial take, and I would be interested to hear the reasoning for that.
That was my statement. I put it up on the forums yesterday. By the way, hi forum guys. And I did get 27 thumbs up and maybe 13 downvotes. So overall, maybe the forum agrees. I think, like, for example, right now, we just got the grand battles. Those are friggin' blast. Ranked, I like the new iteration of ranked better than the old one, even though there's certainly things that can be changed about it. Then you got the clan battles with the new restrictions that came in, and I think they should maybe just go straight to only one of each ship or something like that, because that's sort of where it's headed. But I think the clan battles have moved on tremendously with these new restrictions that came in. Then we had what, at least on the forums, I call the skillification of rocket. Others might call it a nerf. I thought that's a great place where it's going there, and I'll openly admit, maybe something needs to be buffed there as far as rocket planes go. Again, maybe there needs to be little changes. But as a DD main, I'm very happy with that.
Well, yes, I would imagine.
And then the hybrids, I mean, they're coming in. Yes, sometimes you get the 3 hybrid division, but overall, they haven't struck me as overly dangerous. Airstrikes kind of got nerfed. They're not super dangerous anymore. You got the auctions, where you can get 100,000 coal in one swoop if you've got the cash sitting around. And then you've got the new TK system, where I think that's going to help some of the salt and ranked. I mean, there's certain angry shelled creatures that are out there that like to shoot other people, and you just don't have to deal with that stuff anymore. So overall, I think the game is in a great place.
Well, that is definitely a hot take. You are a positive man, Evil. Let's go to Star Destroyer real quick, and let's just ask him for a hot take as well. I mean, what do you think about the state of the game right now? What are there any things that have you particularly excited or particularly optimistic? Is there anything that has you, hesitant, or is there anything that has you literally sweating at night, going, "This is the end of this game that I have sunk so much money into"? Not that I've done that.
And I've definitely gone through the gauntlet of emotions around this game. I've been playing since open beta, so that's a long time. And I mean, there's obviously points where the game goes up and the game goes down and whatnot. And aside from the overall monetization of the game in the past, 6-7 years, I think the game is okay. There are definitely parts I like about it. I do like the new lines that are coming out. There's a fresh take to the game every time a new line comes out. There's diversity, shakes up the meta. I do like clan battles. I love clan battles. I love the team aspect. And I do like the restrictions, as Evil had said. There are parts of the game that I don't like. I was an RTS player, so I don't like the CV rework by default. Although the recent patches that have come out are relatively stabilizing the game, I think, aside from the spotting issue.
Right.
But overall, like I try to keep a neutral mindset. I mean, the game will always go up and down, and I think that's just the nature of the game, and there's no use really complaining about it. And I try to turn my emotions back onto myself and say, how can I adapt to all these new mechanics? How can I adapt to the new meta? How can I make myself a better player? I think
Sure.
I don't know if that's really a hot take, but that's where I stand on that.
I think that's just fine. Let's hit up Dueler real quick, and then I want to hear. I'm just going to ask Borla too. I don't care. It's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. What do you think,
There's a
Dueler?
song about that.
Well,
Actually, I'm gonna steal from Star there that I try to keep a neutral mindset. Um, the way I look at the game is the game's a game. You're gonna throw money on it, some more than others. However, I find playing with people that you like to play with makes the game so much more enjoyable. You can have a losing streak, which for some reason you can get 9 losses in a row. Don't know, ask me how, but you can. But playing with the guys, as you're joking around, playing around, it makes it fun, even though you're getting your ass kicked. But for the entire game itself, there's some good things to it. I like the clan battles with the restrictions. Nothing like playing 5 Venezias or 3 or 4 Goliaths. It's always fun. However, there's other things that I don't like a game. Kind of like there's way too much. You throw in ranked, you throw in clan battles. Now they got grand battles. Now they got new ship lines at the same time. It would be nice just to slow it down just a lot, so you're not playing so much.
oh, that's interesting. Okay, so you almost feel like you're a little overwhelmed with content, almost.
Sometimes, I like playing the ranked, like the new system for the ranked. Like I said, Evil said, there's some tweaks that could be done to it to make it really better. However, I like playing the ranked, but I also like playing clan battles. But then they restrict the time for the rank that you can only do certain times, and so it's that kind of balance. Like sometimes I don't even play randoms anymore. It's just ranked to clan battles to ranked or grand battles. So it's I don't know if they're trying to get you away from the random battles, but it just seems there's always something to do or to get for free. I like free, so.
Sure. Well, last but not least, Borla, what's your hot take on the state of the game?
I don't think any of it's a hot take. A lot of it matches up with Star Destroyers. Like, I try to be a realist about things. I've talked about that before. I don't like CVs. I know they're not going to get pulled out of the game, and I know they're not going to get pulled out of every season of clan battles. I do appreciate that some of them have been limited, that we've had some non-CV clan battle seasons mixed in with the clan battle seasons. With Dueler, this is something that I brought up ages and ages ago, and I think I brought it up on the very first podcast I was on as a guest when I was there with Torino.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had a better calendar of events and things were spaced out a little more. It would be nice. We have a basic patch schedule, so we know when the patches are coming. There's a pretty good cadence to that that's very consistent. I wish the same thing would happen with clan battles, that we knew, hey, there's a season each quarter and we could do it that way. I think there's probably 1 or 2 more seasons in a calendar year than we need. I wish we knew when COTS was 3, 4, 5 months in advance. The ranked, they've kind of changed. Now they have sprint ranked, so that overlap isn't quite the same as it used to be. But I do wish we had a little more foresight of what was coming and when, instead of just guessing about it. And I do wish there was a little bit less of a grind, but that's coming from the perspective of somebody who is involved in a lot of the competitive stuff, and new players want new content, right? I mean, this is what this is all about, is pulling in new players and keeping players engaged after they've gotten most of the content that they want. So I understand why they keep shoving new content out. I do wish, and I've said it before, that I wish they would put some more resources into balancing some things particular to CVs. I think the biggest issue is spotting. We had a conversation today in our Discord about the issues with CVs, and it's not so much people like to talk about how horrible CVs are. I think if we went back to the RTS days for like a couple months, people would realize what it's like just to have your game end 2.5 minutes in because the other CV was really good and wanted to completely delete you. Now they can ruin your game, but it drags out, and there are a few counter things you can do. But the biggest deal is spotting. If they made spotting mini-map only, unless it was within a certain draw range of 8, 10, 12k or whatever, things, or even within the spotting range of that targeted ship, it doesn't show up in your sights on the main screen, it just shows up on the mini map. I think players could adapt to that and it would be a lot more comfortable. But again, at the end of the day, I'm a realist who is here for the community and here for the group that we've built in KSC, and the players like to hang out with and stuff like that, less so than for the grind and for wargaming.
Absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned that. I do recall you wanting that calendar, and I think that's actually a very, very good idea, to be completely honest with you. I wish they would just, include something like that. But
we wouldn't have to know all the details. You wouldn't have to know all the rules of the seasons and events and what ship line, but just, hey, this is our plan. And, if occasionally something got bumped a little bit because developmental things happened, that would be fine. I think specifically the clan battle seasons and COTS and things like that should be pretty simple to put on a calendar way in advance.
Yeah, I would think so as well. And actually, you mentioned something there that reminds me. We got a suggestion from a man named Synpax, whom some of you may have heard of. Synpax actually suggested an idea for an episode, which I think is a really good idea, which is we should have somebody on to discuss old mechanics that are no longer in the game, and how and I actually thought we might get Chris Santos. We might see if we can get Chris Santos from Wargaming on to talk about that, because he was actually discussing it in the community contributor Discord not long ago about, guys, I think he said something along the lines of like, guys, you're bitching about this, but do you not remember that we had something very similar to this like year one?
When I first started playing, you could get a flood from a battleship salvo.
Yes, you could put holes in ships below the waterline and flood them with your guns. And
if I could just do a little aside, obviously Synpax helped you found this and this podcast and founded TNG, and so we all know him, and he's had a lot of good ideas along the way. We also like it when the guys in chat and game give us ideas. I know I had somebody today, I think it was Rabbi Can from Armored Knights.
Who
I think
was
he's
actually been
about
on the podcast before.
Yeah, he was asking me, can you tell me who's going to be on? And I told him we were talking to the Salvo Coalition guys. And then I had a guy, I don't know, was it this last weekend, PW Andy, who was recommending that you and I kind of do some segments, non-warships, and you and I have talked about and promised to do at least an episode or so of non-warship stuff. So,
whiskey, right?
Yeah.
And then we've also got the idea of doing one where each of us tells a good hefty story that's non-warships related. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I, just a shout out to the guys who recognize it in chat, and I think PWND was even telling the guys in our game, go check out the podcast, like he was telling it all chat, telling people, which is a nice plug for us. But if people have feedback, please respond on the YouTube channel or hit us up in game, or both of us are easy to find on the forums or in Discord. We appreciate that stuff. It's fun to interact with you guys.
Well, so we have these three gentlemen here, and I'd like to get their opinion on one more thing for sure, which is there are two new lines of ships that are, I suppose, on deck. The first is the Dutch cruisers, which are notable for having an airstrike component, which I suppose it's sort of like, I'm not going to say what my experience with the test ships is, but I will, if you have to sum up what... if we've all seen the footage of the airstrikes, we all know how it functions. I feel like if you have to describe it to somebody who hasn't seen it, you describe it as, look, you can drop a salvo of HE shells on an area, but it has a flight time of like 14 seconds. Basically, that's it. You're effectively
it's
just
removing
taking a
island
shot.
campers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically making an island camper pay with some health or a damage control for staying behind an island where you can't shoot.
That's a simple way to put it. And there's obviously we've all seen those videos that went viral in the World of Warships community of like, what was it? It was like a Montana or something like that getting dev struck by I think 3 of them in a division all hitting at once. But I think we should all remember that that's probably very rare. But the other line that was sort of previewed are, and yes, it's happening, Soviet aircraft carriers, because
you were just at the beach. Did you see any floating off the shore?
I thought I saw a Soviet aircraft, but it turns out it was actually a shopping cart that had been submerged into the ocean. I don't know why someone would throw out a perfectly good shopping cart when they could just sell it to China.
Just as many planes took off of that shopping cart.
Absolutely, the exact same number. I should have. Damn it! That's what the problem with live comedy is. I should have said. And you know what's crazy is the exact same number of planes have taken off from Soviet aircraft carriers as have taken off from that shopping cart. Should have said that. Damn it. But they have a unique.
That's why you stopped doing the podcast solo. Bugsy.
That's why I brought you on, man. Because I need another pair of brain hemispheres to help me out. So. So the Soviet aircraft carriers are sort of, people seem to be very excited or very against, possibly because it's just another carrier line, but they have the gimmick, as was stated by Wargaming, of one squad, one strike, meaning you don't get multiple drops. With the squadron that you send out, you get a single drop, but it does have, I think it's safe to say it has an insane alpha possibility, an insane alpha potential for damage. So I mean, let's hear from the fellas. If you guys haven't really looked into it, that's fine. You can punt the question to the next guy. But Evil, let's start with you. I mean,
Sure.
What do you think about the Soviet aircraft carriers?
I mean, they strike me very much similar to the Isotona and the Dutch airstrike thing. Like, those are all one-time use items kind of thing. And so it's all in the same theme, and it makes me wonder what that's going to do to clan battles. Is that going to push out the heavy... Is that going to push out the Petros and the Stalingrads from behind the islands finally? Where a Petro right now can basically, destroy what a CV is doing to it. Are these guys going to get through all of that junk and push those heavy cruisers out? As far as how it's going to impact game balance, it's exciting, I think, but it's too early for me to draw a conclusion. I've seen too little of its actual effects. I'm really wondering where it's going to go in clan battles. Maybe double BB is going to be more exciting with the airstrikes coming in. Or you can have airstrike package plus Russian CV deleting shit all over the map. Sorry for the swear.
That's fine. Well, Star, what about you?
Okay, so I guess I'll just preface by saying that I'm a competent CV player, but by no means like, super unicum or anything like that. But so I've seen both sides of the argument. I mean, it was kind of a joke in Forum Clan, at least, that Soviet aircraft carriers would be the end of the game, and
yes, I think that was
Kremlin hull. Yeah,
that was always one of the signs of the apocalypse, right? Was the Soviet aircraft carriers?
Yeah, and like now the aircraft carriers can push their Kremlin hulls and bow tank while they launch planes. All those jokes. But so and I've also seen the other side, which I am a member of Askance's Discord, and I do watch some of his content to learn how to be a better player.
Sure.
And he has been saying that they are actually not as powerful as people, public perception may seem of it, despite the nation. And I think with all things, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And I know Wargaming will be watching this line pretty closely, not only because it's Russian, but also because it's carriers. And they probably want to strike a balance between, having its own identity, but also being neither underpowered nor grossly overpowered in terms of its performance in the game. But as to its design, I would have to agree with Evil that I think that combined with the Dutch cruisers are encouraged to force ships to be more mobile, which seems to be the general trend that wargaming is taking the game in, with the commander rework that happened a couple patches ago, nerfing German secondaries and whatnot. I think they're trying to force people to go closer together, and I think that these Russian carriers may break up the stagnant stragglers at the back, for better or for worse, and will encourage more mobile play.
Fair enough, man. Dueler, what about you? Before we go to Borla.
Are we still talking World of Warships, or are we talking World of Planes?
Haha, there it is. There's the World of Warplanes reference. Let's dig up that corpse and just string it up and remind everyone of what happened.
No, it's going to be interesting. I don't know too much about them, but like you said, especially with the Dutch cruisers, is hopefully put a little bit more, no, maybe not skill, but a little bit more action into being able to flank. You have to kite. You have to play the game a little bit differently, and which also increases gameplay. Nothing's fun when everyone's sitting behind an island and you can't really do anything, and you're doing 2,000, 3,000 damage each shot. It does get kind of nerve-wracking sometimes, but hopefully this kind of breaks up the game and has different wrench thrown at it type of deal.
And I think a lot depends on the exact features, because right now all we have is a description of the concept by Wargaming. We don't have hard numbers, and there's things that will be nerfed and buffed along the way. But if you listen to the description Wargaming gives us, all planes have a small amount of HP and low cruise speed, so they're more susceptible to AA. And also for attack planes or rocket planes, as each plane gets picked off, since there's only one attack, the attack itself is reduced. So today, where there's, say, 3 squadrons and you get some planes shot down, you still drop with the full squadron until you start chipping away at that last squadron. It seems that won't be the case with the Soviet ones. And also the Torp bombers, it's supposedly longer arming speed for the Torps, and they're going to be slow speed. And then the Skip bombers, to me, they don't sound terribly strong. If that's accurate, I'm afraid that's going to be the description, and the numbers really aren't going to be that much different than some of the other CVs, and so it won't have some of the weaknesses that it appears to have on paper.
Yeah,
I think it's also possible they do come out and are weak, and then they can point to this as saying, "See, every Russian line isn't broken when it comes out." But the part that I guess I would keep all of the sky is falling people, I would ask them to keep in mind is, I don't think the Soviet carriers are going to produce more CV players. I think it's still going to be CV. There's the amount of CVs in the game isn't going to drastically increase beyond the first week or two where people try them out. It's not going to drastically increase. I would say these will fall in based on where their merit is, right? Like, there's not a bunch of Audaciouses at tier 10, even though it's an option, because it's clearly the weakest CV, and there's different other tiers. There's whatever the weakest CV or two of that tier is. You just don't see them in game hardly ever. If you do, it's generally a really poor player who isn't performing well, and I think the same thing will happen here.
Well,
sorry, but just to let you know, Borla, I've got a special guy for you on our Discord who likes to disagree on the merits on the Audacious, if you ever seek it.
What? Wait, you have an audacious? You have an audacious simp? Tell me.
Oh yes, I won't give away a name or anything like that. But if you ever want to have him on here, he is in love with Audacious. He is against meta everything, so he's always special. But sometimes he does deliver, and he does play fairly well. And he meets our requirements to be in the clan anyway. But yeah, he's a big Audacious fan, and he runs it in clan battles.
Now,
there are outliers. Like there are outliers. There are people who make odd ships work, but metas are a meta for a reason. The vast majority of the time. So I guess my argument is, these Soviet cruisers aren't going to be. It's not going to make the amount of CVs played drastically increase beyond the first
I agree.
10,
I
12
totally
days. Yeah.
agree with you that. Totally agree with you there, personally.
yikes. Talking about audacious.
Bogsy, you sound like you want to have an audacious episode.
Didn't we just did the
You show
CV
something
roundtable.
shiny. Yeah, you show something shiny to him, and he just darts off like a squirrel.
We just did the CV. we just did the CV roundtable, and literally had a segment on it called "Refloat the Audacious" rather than "Sink a Ship." We literally did "Refloat the Audacious." Okay, well, so fair enough, fellas. Let's do another game here, and then we'll sort of start to wrap things up. I'm gonna have you, each one of you. Speaking of sinking of ship, I'm gonna have each one of you do that now. Some of these greedy World of Warships players that come on here, they attempt to sink an entire line of ships. They attempt to sink an entire class of ships, and that's not how things are going to work. We just got out of a pandemic. We all need to tighten our belts a little bit and sacrifice one ship to the drowned god for the sake of making everyone's lives better. So, if you had to take one of your World of Warships children and sacrifice it to ensure a bountiful harvest, which ship would that be, Dueler?
I want to go with the Nevsky.
You want to sink the Nevsky? Very interesting. I think that might be the first time that's ever happened. Why?
Well, nothing like having a kiter shoot every 5 seconds at you with good AA, radar, and 180 millimeter guns, especially with fire every single time that they hit you.
Fair enough, man. He's not a fan of the fireworks cruisers. Star Destroyer, how about you?
All right. I guess I'd have to pick the ARP Yamato
Why?
because I'm a fan of working hard to get to tier 10. Tier 10, in my opinion, should be a mastery tier, and the ability to bypass all the grinding and all of the learning along that process, just to automatically buy a tier 10 and then buy a tier 10 that you can get a legendary upgrade, which you should be grinding more for. Just goes against the whole principle of the game, and I just don't feel it really fits the rest of the game.
A tear just fell out of my eye, turned into a bald eagle, and flew away. That was beautiful.
Sorry, man.
I think Bogsy, our mutual friend JGHC, like his ears are burning right now. It's his fault. I own an ARP Yamato, and I believe
Is that right?
I believe that was the last ship that he spent money on.
Good Lord. Sorry, Joe. We always bring you up when it's like, it's always Joe made me do this or Joe made me do that. But Evil?
Most of those stories are not safe for the podcast.
Evil, what's it going to be?
The Svetlana.
The
Svetlana? What the shit is the Svetlana?
Tier 3 Russian cruiser. It's an ungainly pig of a ship. It's slow. It's got terrible turrets. For some reason, bots are super dangerous in it because they YOLO in and torp rush you. But overall, it's got a Russian cow's name on it. No, that ship needs to go. I've been thinking about this hard for 2 years, and that's the ship that needs to go.
Wow. I never in my wildest dreams would I have expected that. The Svetlana.
Most people
that's got to be a
don't.
new one. Yeah, that's got to be a new one too.
I think so.
It's slow. Its turrets aren't that great. Its guns are kind of anemic. And then the name on top of it, I don't know why, but when I first went up the Russian cruiser tree, that's the one that got me.
Hey man, fair enough. There's really don't know what else you can say about that.
There's not much.
Well, Borla, would you kindly invite these gentlemen to do some poaching before we wrap up?
Yes, we talked a little bit about recruiting, and let's say that our friend Simpax is coming back to the game, and he's decided that it's not going to be a TNG. So, Dueler, you would like him to come to Bingo. You get 30 seconds to convince him to join Bingo. What do you say?
He's speechless. It's amazing.
Either we lost Dueler or he doesn't want Syntax and Bingo. One of the
There we
two.
go. Bingo has been playing together for over 4 years together, and our team, like they call our group, is on our way to Typhoon League. And if you're looking for one of the more active groups in North American server, come hang out, see what we're all about, and maybe you'll play a Katori battle.
Ooh, lure him with a Katuri. How about you, Star Destroyer?
Yeah, if you would like to join Forum, we are more than happy to have you with us. We're a competitive yet friendly and helpful environment. We have members from all across the world, and we have a good core group of very skilled players. And we've hit Typhoon multiple times, and hopefully going to punch into Hurricane League. And if you want to join us, please feel free to reach out to me.
Nice. So, if we want somebody to join Salvo, what do we tell them, Evil?
Are you a dad, 30 years and older, got kids, other stuff to do in your life? You still want Typhoon Steel? Come talk to me. We've got a super active Discord. We've got teams running every night. We've got merc spots on other teams. You're not going to find a place where you can get more steel. Join us today.
Do you by chance own a used car dealership? Because that was a great local TV used car dealership.
It really
Come
was.
on down. That was very well done.
What do I have to do to put you into Salvo today? Yeah, very
Exactly.
nice. Gentlemen, it's now open floor. I'm not calling on anybody. Would any of the three of you like to plug anything? We can put links into the description below on the podcast. Is there anything you guys, any tournaments, any games, any activities that you guys want to share that folks might be able to check out or enjoy with you?
Well, I would love it if you could plug our Articles of Coalition. And the Salvo Coalition is looking for more possible member clans. Let's grow a bigger community. And I talked to Star about it. I talked to Dueler about it in the council, and everybody's kind of for it. We want to grow bigger. So, Simpax, if you don't want to join the clan, join TNG. Bring everybody over.
He's trying to poach my entire clan. That's gorgeous.
The one thing I will mention too, Boxy, our mutual friend Oskant, World of Warships Twitch channel has been doing some instruction type things lately.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had people prepare 45-minute long segments on how to play a certain class of ship, go over commander skills, stuff like that. So I believe right at the beginning of July, maybe perhaps right after July 4th, Oskans is going to be on the World of Warships channel talking about CVs. So
really,
a little free plug for him. Hopefully by the time we record our next podcast, I'll have the exact date and time. But
yes,
he's
please do.
Yeah, he's
Awesome.
going to be
He's a
doing
great
that.
guy.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's a
he
good
is.
guy.
I've been friends with Oskant since he joined TNG sometime in 2020 and then migrated over to KSC. And in that amount of time, I mean, he's been very prolific. He has become a community contributor. He streams on Twitch multiple days a week. He actually is my partner during COTS. We have co-casted COTS as well as Gaishu's Warship Masters Invitational tournaments. And yeah, that's wonderful to hear that he's going to be on the main channel. So we'll have, next time we come back, we'll have exact dates. So please go check him out. We'll have links to the Salvo Coalition Discord below. We'll have their articles of Coalition available, so you can check it out. It's a very officious-looking document. I would assume it'd be very helpful for any of you who are sort of looking maybe for a blueprint or some instruction or some example on how to create sort of some rules for your community. So that'll be available in the descriptions below. Other than that, Borla, is there anything else?
No, I really appreciate you guys coming on. I think you guys have a fascinating community, and you found a way to keep kind of your clan's feel and your independence while also having an active Discord. And that's something I think a lot of people are looking for, because the things, I've always been interested in clan dynamics, and that's why I started listening to this podcast when Simpax and Bogsy first put it out. And I think you guys have a very unique way of attacking that problem of how do I have my Discord be busy and make sure my guys have people to play with and div with and play randoms with, but also the competitive and clan battles and things like that. So good job to you guys, and it's been nice talking to you.
Thank you, and thank you all for having us on here. I've been excited for this for about 2 months.
Well, it's truly our pleasure. So thank you to Eviltane from Salvo, Star Destroyer 001 from Form, Dueler 02 from Bingo. It has been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Bugs. Have a good night.
Absolutely. And as always, thank you to all of you who consistently tune in and listen. Borla and I appreciate it very much because if you guys didn't listen, we'd still do this. It would just be one great big circle jerk of self-congratulation on how much we enjoy World of Warships and talking about it. So
at least Late Light would still listen.
At least nothing would change for Late Light. Right, exactly. We love you, Late Light. We hope you listen to this one. Other than that, we're done, guys. We'll see you next time when hopefully we'll talk a little bit about some of that stuff we talked about before, which I can't remember now because I'm tired. So we'll catch you all next time on Get to Know World of Warships.